walking the paths of our ancestors' feet and listening to the voices that keep our cultures alive. Kamraleng Heritage Podcast, where our stories will forever last.
Though these people, they are also from Mkukwini, they managed to be something in their lives. And I told myself the same thing, to say, you know what, I want to be something, regardless of where I'm coming from, regardless of how tough the upbringing of where I'm coming from. But I want to be something. I want people to call my name into good things. I want to be a hero of this community. I remember the first project that we had. It was because of the
welcome to Kamraleng Heritage Podcast. We are here at Escotini, Chill Out 1685 Ivory Park. Patrick Maswanganyi is not only the name, I think you all know how Ivory Park Tembisa Jikelele. You know this man. He's a seasonal entrepreneur, a community builder, a youth leader, spiritual healer, and has done all. So it's also a founder of Ivory Park Youth Talent. Kirkinaleona kakapa kama mshate kiridimidisha.
Abshen tatamyai dumelanko haye. Victor Mina Patrick Maswanganyi, born in Tembisa and raised in Ivory Park. So basically I'm your township product, someone who was brought up here in the streets of Tembisa and Ivory. I usually say Ivory Park and Tembisa is one and the same. Yes, I'm still young. I'm just a 33-year-old. But yeah, there's a lot here that I can tell and I can share, because it's a long journey that I had with this community, and that inspired me, that groomed me, that made me who I am today. So yes.
Okay, usikalwala subscribe, like and comment in our sections where we can actually grow this podcast. Releva Kamraleng 1685. Renaleona kakava kamoki Maswanganyi hona le rena lokonefa. Our bujega le tolaha as a utonide just the politics at the younger age. Take us through that.
What inspired you to start engage in political space while you're still young?
Oh well, hey, the way it happened, it's so funny, Dr. Mnyai, to the viewers and the listeners. It started very funny because it started by me wanting to see a change. I'm from a very, one could say, bad or very Christian, I don't know how to actually put it, like a very sad upbringing, because I was brought up by a single parent. My mother, which at some point, I think at the age of 16, she left me, and by then I was still in high school, Nexadi School, by that time. And you can imagine at the age of 16, you've got adolescent, that's where you need your parents' guidance, that's where stage is starting and stuff. And then God decided to do what he did, and he took my mother. And by then I was left with my two sisters, my older sister and my younger sister. And we were all young at that time. We were very young, but let me say, by the mercy of God, we survived until today, where we became elders and where we became parents. So by that time, I actually said to myself, after losing my mother, I said, I want to be something. I want to be someone. Because my mother, when she left me, we were living in a two-room shack. Basically here in Ivory Park, in Ward 78, Emma 7. Basically on that two-room shack, we didn't know where our next meal would come from. We didn't know, we didn't have hope. It was scary in a way. You get so scared sometimes to say, but the provider, the protector is no longer there. And by that time you grow up without even knowing who's your biological father. When you ask that question, you'll be beaten to say, why are you asking that? So I had that thing, you know what, I want to be someone in life. We were inspired by the likes of Abom Zambia by then, Abom Sawawa. One of my role models used to be DJ Spoon. I used to like DJ Sbu a lot by that time. He was the one guy who used to uplift and embrace Itembisa. He's still doing it till today. So I had that thing looking at videos on a 7. I said, but although these people, they are also from Mkukwini, they managed to be something in their lives. And I told myself the same thing, to say, you know what, I want to be something, regardless of where I'm coming from, regardless of how tough the upbringing of where I'm coming from. But I want to be something. I want people to call my name into good things. I want to be a hero of this community. I remember the first project that we had, it was because of there's a river just down here, the river stream that goes in. It's Klipspruit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this one just here next to us, next to our house. So people were drowning by that time. When it's raining, when it's rainy season, like November, such time, you'd find people like there used to be those open storm water drains. Yes. So when they tried to jump that, because the water was too big, it will sweep them to the river, and most of them died. We lost lots of people by that time. And I think that's when my activism started. That's where my first, like, I was concerned as a young person. I think I was only 16. That's the funniest part about it. I remember by then the mayor was still Mayor Amos Masondo by that time. And I mobilized the community with the help of, there was a street committee mother, she passed away by then, but Mam Togo. She came and then she was like, I went to her and said, Mama, how can people be drowning and there's nothing that is being done? And then she said, we did speak to the councillor, but nothing is happening, we don't know what's happening. I said, no, Mama, this can't be right. This can't be right, honestly. Something needs to be done. And then I said something needs to be done. And by then what she did was like, what needs to be done? I said, call the community. Let's mobilize the community. Indeed, we mobilized the community. When we mobilized the community came. I called the community, I said, people are dying. And we are your children. And we are playing in these streets. And what happens next time, maybe I'm from school and then it rains like that, and then I need to jump the storm water. Then that means I'm next. This storm water is going to take me to the river and I'm going to die. Is this the type of community we want to live in? And the community said, no. I said, then let's do something. And they said, what? What can we do? And then by then we had, I must give credit to comrades who came during those time. We had comrades, the PAC comrades, Tate Morupa, Godfrey, I forgot his surname, who actually offered to volunteer to assist us. That's when they came in from the political PAC. And they said, we understand your grievances, and we are happy that you've got a young person like this one who came forward to say they want to see change in their community. We need to see roads, we need to see underground stormwater being built. And by that time, I remember very well, we worked with the local councillor, Comrade Joe Mahlanga. We worked with him, and there was also Comrade Zita as well, who was a neighbor. Also remember, he was a neighbor councillor by that time. And we worked with all those councillors to actually try and address this matter because it was affecting us and it was urgent. And they managed to assist us to an extent that the mayor came from the city of Johannesburg and came to our community. And when he came to our community, that's when they assessed the situation and they had reports of how many people died who drowned on that river because of those open stormwater. And then from there, the budget was approved even nationally by that time. And when it was approved, that's when we had victory of then underground stormwaters were built, roads were built in our ward, and till today, that was my first victory. And I must say, I felt like a hero. I felt that I'm someone Like, even though I lost my parents, at least I'm living in a community that's safe. I've saved the whole community in a way. And I guess that's where the fire started burning, and it started burning harder. And from that day, that time when they started building and people were so happy, elder people started coming to me and they said, thank you. And that didn't actually end there. It actually moved to my school. Because by that time, the most important thing, I guess, it was my school. I started becoming, I was elected to become an RCA in the school at Umqele Comprehensive School. Where as well, we started enforcing, I guess that's where my leadership started to begin in a way as well. I started applying my leadership skill from that, and then we started getting workshops and stuff. Unfortunately, from there we moved again. That's when I moved to organization like your Pilane Support Group. And it's so funny because everywhere I go, it's always been, there's always a leadership role that always been played. When I got to Epilane, they had an organization as well that represents the orphanage and child-headed, because I was from a child-headed family. It's called Stars of Tomorrow, under the late Josanda Tswai, and your lady Yvette as well. Those are the people who were leading us in Pilane Support Group, Nagomam Tembi, and other caregivers were there. So I started being looked after now by the Pilane Support Group, which also played a role as well in shaping me as an individual, and also giving us hope. Being a child-headed family is not an end. It doesn't mean you must be on drugs. It doesn't mean you must give up in life. It doesn't mean you won't achieve your dreams. Whatever you believe in, go for it. So that's when I got exposed through their sponsorship. They started taking us to Durban, which was one of my wish. Remember, when you don't have parents, even when the school issues a trip, you couldn't pay for it. So I was having this huge dream to say, I want to go to Durban and stuff. So yeah, I can see the sea and stuff. I was always curious about the ocean and the sea and stuff. So I got to have a chance to explore some of those, even and then to go to educational tours, to go to all those adventurous tours and stuff. And they also assisted me to open my mind. It's where I met great people like people like Joe Manglia, who's a producer in SABC News, head of producers, who also explored us to other things as well. And I also started a program. The first program of the Saturday after school study, I started it at Pilane Support Group, there by Roman Catholic Church, A2 next door in Seqinisweni. I was the first one who came with that whole plan. And funny enough, some people always ask me about where I've improved my English, because I've studied in the township. I always tell them we had a SIP. It was more like a SIP program, where like we had Americans who came from America, Europe, people who came from the Catholic Church. It was white people mostly who would want to give back to the community. So they used to come there, and then they would offer Saturday schools. And through that, we used to do lots of reading. We used to do our studies, our mathematics, our science. Through that program, that's when, I guess, because they used to give us prizes to say, if you do well, then you get a prize, you see. And they used to offer bursaries as well. And I guess that's when I improved my English stuff. So some people asked me how. Yeah, Mara Mtsonga Mchangani. I need to emphasize that. So yeah, and being brought up in this broader community and stuff, I then moved to the next. There's lots of stages that I moved into. I've joined the ANC Youth League as well. because obviously the PAC was not doing well when it comes to the youth. I guess I was the only young person. They did recruit me on PAC. Well, I would say that was my first political party, but I didn't. It was never vibrant because I was the only young person who was interested in learning the politics about Robert Sobukwe and stuff. So I must say I felt the stalwart in me as well. Yeah, and I was inspired by the history of our Nelson Mandela's, your Robert Sobukwe, understanding the ideology,
The black consciousness.
yeah, of black consciousness is that they had to say they always wanted to see a black child becoming something in life. They always wanted to see a black child going beyond what the system has created. And I had that thing of believing in myself to say, I'm that black child. Because even when you look at their history of our heroes, it was never an easy upbringing. It was actually the worst upbringing ever. And I told myself to say, you know what? I'm going to go beyond this. I'm going to do better than this. As much as I'm from the tough upbringing, looking at my peers by then, or looking at my township by then, and I told myself that I'm going to make way better than this. Understand? And that's when that's what I said. That's what kept the fire burning, basically. And I kept on saying I want to see the change in our community. So when I joined the ANC, basically it was also one of those things to say these are the people who will help me to shape this dream that I'm having. If I go to politics and I go to leadership, I'll be able to channel my energy and my vision towards a direction, because here you bring an ideology, and if they embrace it, they fund it, and it comes to real. So I needed to be on that space. At the very same time, I wanted to see the change, to see the things that are not happening, because coming from Ivory Park, coming from Tembisa, there's lots of things we didn't have in our community. We don't have a theater, we don't have a radio, we didn't have a radio station, we didn't have a TV station, we didn't have most of the things that are there in Soweto. Because usually through politics, through these programs, I would go to Soweto frequently, and I would go to Soweto Theater, I would go to Soweto TV, and I'll be like, why these things are not there in our community? What's wrong with us? What are we not doing right? Because I mean, we all have 24 hours after all to do these things. And then I said, if they are not there, okay, cut.
Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. I am Rutuchili Kakapa, Kiena, Patrick Maswanganyi, or which I got to lie ya Chabi Politiki or Utemile Kai or Yakukai. Here's a little one to Marena. You spoke so lightly about how proud you are about being an Ivory Park resident.
Yes.
And inspiring. A child is raised by a village.
Yeah, right.
You are one of those child, Lauren. The seed was planted, and then there was an emergence of that seed coming out. So you are a light to that. You are an exemplary to that. So now, your involvement in youth, you've been involved in a lot of championing a lot of youth empowerment programs. So, and then we've seen some of those that actually has had some result or some fruits. You've just mentioned or Willow TV, acting. We also part of Carloya MTT TV.
Yes.
As you just said, where we are Ivory Park, why can't we have the same type? Because you are all youth.
Yes.
It's not like they are different, they are somewhere in another planet.
True.
We're in the same planet. Whatever you think is the same thing that we can do. What could be the problem? Why in this area such things has never been materialized?
Well, let me say everything starts with passion. I guess when I look at Ivory Park, I see we don't have enough role model. Let me just say that. Or must I say our young people are not inspired enough to be motivated enough to see actually they are sitting, I usually say they are sitting on top of gold. A majority of the influence that has taken over in our streets is actually your alcohol, your like if you check the number of alcohol establishment in our community, they are even over more than your youth centers, more than your churches, more than anything. It's every street has an alcohol establishment. So we have glorified, our young people have glorified alcohol more than their future. No one thinks of tomorrow, no one thinks of leaving a legacy. Everyone is just living for the moment. Everyone wants to have fun, everyone wants to enjoy their lives. So I guess what's stopping us first before anything is passion. Are we passionate enough as young people to build our community? Yeah. And the second one, I would say, are we informed? Because it goes back to that issue as well. Because I've worked with lots of young people and I've tried. I've did my best. I don't want to lie. I've involved lots of entities to come to Ivory Park and speak to young people. You call Imbizo of young people. You do an expo. You do anything in Ivory Park. Young people don't attend. So you get to see it then to say there's something wrong with our young people. They have that thing. They want to see things happening, but they don't want to be involved. So no one wants to get their hands dirty. Let me start there. Even though you can try by all means to bring these things, the reality is they won't show up. So the first discouragement, it's us as young people, that we are discouraged to even stand up on our own, to start something from scratch, to start building. Because if you look at the likes of Soweto, yes, Soweto, even them, when you look at their history, because I did interview some of them to get an insight, and I got to realize that these young people, they started something out of nowhere, with nothing, with not even enough resources. If I would go back to a story of how Soweto TV started, it started on a small camera, that small video camera with a cassette. That's what they used. And then when tourists were coming to Mandela's house to come and check that, they could see there's an activity happening there. And certain videographer or who are into media, when they see that these young people are shooting something there, they were interested to say, so what's happening there? And when they got there, those young people said, we are running a TV station. And they said, what is that TV station? And they said, Soweto TV. They said, Soweto TV, what's that? And then they started showing the content. The content was poor, we must say, but there was something. The vision was there. So what they had the vision. And they put the vision and they went in the streets and they did it. And then someone said, no, man, we need to empower this. That's when the big cameras started coming in. That's when workshops started coming in. That's when editors, whatever that's needed for the TV station to come through. And that's when the TV station came through. And then you can see that, oh, okay, what are we lacking here in Ivory Park? We're lacking to even begin to start something. We have ideas. We do have young people who have passion. Make no mistake. I do meet those brilliant young people. But one thing I've learned is that most of them, they want to actually go to the mainstream media. None of them wants to start from the beginning. And another thing, even with those who have the passion to start something, they lack support. Because they are those who are doing something. They are those young people who are doing art as we speak. But even if you go to them and they will tell you, we have no support. We have no support. Even let me start from our local council. They will be crying that they don't have places to rehearse, which is true. I've been to one of the infrastructure now. I was so disappointed to find out that stadium is damaged in that way as it is. But when I got there were young people who were doing art, who were doing theater acting as we speak, and they are at state theatre as we speak, which is something. And I said, but I looked at the infrastructure is damaged. The infrastructure is like so bad, and I was like, is this our community? And I said, and that's when you realize that some young people are inspired. They want to do something, but they don't have the right resources. And it goes back to us as leaders. Are we supporting them enough? Then you realize that there's not much of support. There's no bond between the local government and the provincial government and the national government and the people to work together in order to improve our community into something. And I said, so there's lots of discouragement. Then young people, all of them, they rely on alcohol to relieve stress. They rely on alcohol for entertainment. They rely on alcohol for recreation.
Okay. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment to us. I'm here listening to you. You mentioned the youth are despondent in many occasions. And then you also highlighted the issue here. We've got nice facilities tailoring up to so far they've been vandalized. Is it because of maybe are they accessible for young people? Maybe the tariffs are higher for them to access those stadiums or those facilities or community centers, because those centers are built for them. If now it becomes a problem on our access, and why should we be there? Could it be that problem?
Well, I was once a ward committee member. I'm glad you're asking me that, because I was once a ward committee member in the city of Johannesburg under Ward 78. And we have a youth center in Ward 78. We have Lord Kanyile Community Hall in Ward 78. We have the stadium. We also have this thing, Regional Park, 47. And I'll tell you one thing. Yes, somewhere, somehow, there's lots of politics that I don't know, because when I became a ward committee, I was always approached by young people to say, please help us to access these facilities. And each and every time when I want to access, like when I go to those facilities, there's always someone blocking the red tapes. Yes, there was that type of a thing where when you want to use the youth center, let's say you must book, there's a certain fee. Our youth centers are usually used for churches. That's the funniest part about it. They will tell you there's a church that has booked the hall, the church is practicing, the church is doing that, and then you ask them why. They say it's because the city is not funding the youth center. So meaning there's no maintenance for the youth center. So in that case, the youth center management, or those who are elected to guard to manage the center as volunteers, they need to come with fundraise tactics to try and maintain the building and pay the bills, pay the electricity and pay the water, and also fix the broken windows and the broken toilets. That's what we usually used to hear. So as like each and every time you come to the youth center, you want to access it, you'll hear that the church has locked the center because they've booked it for the whole month or for the whole quarter, I don't know, for the whole 6 months. You go to the main big hall, they tell you no, you can't access this one. The city does not permit for the use of this thing, practices and stuff. They must use the youth center. So there was always that back and forth politics that has been happening. You go to the stadium, even with the stadium, same politics. So basically, the I don't know whether should I say the bylaws or the laws that are put in place, they don't seem, by the municipality, they don't seem to be working hand in hand with the community. They work aside, because even if we are not doing business, for you to access these places, it's a hassle. You understand? And I remember I would always tell my counselor, as a right-hand man of counselor or advisor of counselor, to say, but our young people are not accessing these facilities. And we have them here. Why? In results, you find young people practicing outside a youth center. You find young people practicing outside a community hall, outside the stadium. At some point, you find the very same facility being vandalized. They're throwing stones. Those who want to smoke nyaupe, they go there to smoke nyaupe. Suddenly they start vandalizing the pipes and all of that. That's what we used to face when I was a ward committee. Now and then, and I will try to address this. I will write letters to the city. I will write it through the council and stuff, but nothing has been done until my term was finished. Unfortunately, that has discouraged me, but it's one of those challenges that I've picked up, because they will tell you you need to get a waiver from the city and stuff. So it was just so difficult. Even today, it's still difficult. But when I went there, I remember now I walked there, I never saw any activity happening. I don't know what's the politics. Because last time I left the office, everything was active. But now I see the facilities in a dire state, as we speak. So I'm not sure.
All right, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. Yes, a youth but despondent give us now accessibility to any facility which is meant for them. Then we look at the issue study facilities, they will then tend to become white elephant. And remember, the youth, they should be guarding those facilities. But if they don't have an access to that, anything can happen.
Sure.
Right, take us the level of unemployment youth around the area. That as you look at, there is that space where young people are just gallivanting in the street.
Yeah, it's very painful, which when I remember very well, when I was a ward committee, I tried to address that. Even now as we speak, there's a group that I have, a WhatsApp group. It's an empowerment group where we share posts. If there's a post in the city, there's a post in the streets, there's opportunities for young people. We're still sharing those opportunities. I have it on my phone, and we have other young people. What I've noticed when it comes to that is that our young people, they are big dreamers when they're still at high school, still studying. It's quite exciting, that bigger picture. The school will make you have the bigger picture. But the reality, it's a different thing. Majority of them, they finish their matric, they can't proceed. Either maybe through their pass mark, that they didn't do well on their matric. Most of them is like they finish school and they come back and stay a gas. That's what happens. That's what I've noticed. It's a normal trend where after matric, you're just gonna go back home and sit. If you didn't get a chance to go to varsity, then it's done with you. Sometimes you went to varsity. If you never got any job opportunity or you're not connected to anyone, you come back and sit a gas. So we've seen so much potential in our community going down the drain. Hence I said, majority of these young people, they succumb to alcohol as their scapegoat, as if like they're having fun, they're having a great recreation time and all of that, only to find that that's where they are actually drowning their own future. Because a lot happens after being intoxicated and stuff. And it puts them into a risk of some of them, they lose themselves and they never recover. And you hear that this young person has a degree in what and what, but he never made it, he never went anywhere. He's just here drinking. You understand? So you would say, like the level of unemployment is very high, which it needs the whole society. I would just put it that way. It needs the government, it needs the private sector, it needs the very same community, it needs the very same community entrepreneurship to come in and employ and change the mentality of these young people and bring hope. But unfortunately, this actually escalates to other matters, like the level of foreign nationals in Ivory Park. It's very high. The entrepreneurship in Ivory Park, it's there, but it's run by the foreign national more than the locals. So it tells you that there's no way where you will get these young people being empowered, these young people being given an opportunity. In an instance, then it leads to crime, it leads to prostitution within the very same community. Unfortunately, these are the things that people don't talk about, but they are there. You understand? So we live in a very vulnerable community. Our young people are going through a lot, I'm aware, and they try to shield it. They look good, you know, they try to bath and look good and stuff, but they're hiding so much pain in them, and so much anger. And that anger, they don't know where to take it. And as a young person who grew up here, it is a challenge to say, what do you do when the situation is like this? When our young people are drowning like this? But sometimes it gets to you as well as an individual. You realize that alone, I can't do anything. We need the whole society to come down and say, how do we save Tembisa? How do we save Ivory Park? How do we guide this community to shape it into something else? More or less, the government has a huge role, unfortunately, because if it can play that role to guide this community, to guide this community, then we can have a direction to say at least certain number of young people, they are empowered through these programs, through this, through that. But unfortunately, yeah.
Wow, Vukuzenzele, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. You are also passionate about education, and we've seen programs where you are involved more into study fundraising, study school and all that. And what inspired you to do that?
Oh, well, yeah, that one, it's close to me. It makes me happy, actually, because I'm doing it with your DJ Shinza. After one main show, I've been on that charity drive, I think for what now? For 8 years, I think. Yeah, I've been there in that drive. I've been with DJ Shinza throughout, since from Karing. I think I was the first from Ivory Park, the first organization under Ivory Park Youth Talent, which I used to empower the kids. Actually, throughout the year, I would take them to Gauteng legislature. I'm the first one to introduce them to Children's Parliament, as I was an honorable member as well. I was part of the youth parliament that happens every year in Gauteng legislature. So there's also Children's Parliament. So basically what I did is, when I started Ivory Park Youth Talent, I focused a lot on these young stars, because I've seen that our age group, young people, they are discouraged, as I said. They finish their matric, they want something that will benefit them financially. They don't understand about the educational knowledge, empowerment. They want something that's tangible. So I work with the kids more than anything. So we used to do art, we used to do acting, dancing, drama charades, our cultural dance, all of this. We use heritage as well. So, and then we'll have a festival every year, especially June 16th. So basically, here in Ivory.
Thank you very much for watching us, and comment and like and comment. And Reduce Kakapa Moki wa Maswanganyi Petriki. There've been a lot of intervention programs, the likes of Larato Lamola Games and all that. What impact for community here at Ivory Park? Is there any impact during the sports is bringing to the community here at Ivory Park, more especially for the youth?
Yeah, those games, we usually call them social cohesion games. As a ward committee at Sports and Rec, I used to actually try and assist to create these facilities, create waiver from the city to get the facilities during those days. So one greatest thing about it is that it used to bring people together, and the entrepreneurship as well, including the Phillies game, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the biggest currently in the country, which is the Phillies games. There's entrepreneurship happening in that place, where we see our locals
benefiting from that.
We are benefiting from that, coming to sell on that. And there's also talent scooping. Unfortunately, I will speak of my own. We have your Maswanganyi, who were scooped from the ground, Samo Ivory Park Regional ground, which is the greatest thing we ever achieved, seeing Maswanganyi becoming the country almost a continent star coming from the streets at Ivory Park. We have seen the likes of my own Mchanaka, Tito Maswanganyi, who's currently doing well as well. Amletia Tibisa as well. He's doing well as well. Pirates. He was scooped from the streets, from our ground, Samo Ivory Park as well. And there's a lot. I'm just talking about those that I know closer because they were close to me. Tembazwan is my neighbor. Tito is my family. So it made it easy, for me to just make those examples. And those games, they're not just mula mula. They are from the very same streets, and they still came back and they offered that. And we've seen people from all across, all walks of life, from other communities coming to our community to support. We've seen entrepreneurship happening. So we've seen, okay, so there's a huge impact that is played by this social cohesion. You meet the people you've grown up with, or meet the same youth. They do like attending those type of events. They're very special to them. So, and it's just on their doorstep. We don't have to watch it on TV. You can just walk and be part of it. You can just walk. Now it's December. We're going to December. These games are coming. We'll be seeing these superstars that we watch on TV coming to Ekasley too. And we enjoy with them, we sit with them, we dine with them. And that's the most special thing about these social cohesion games. And it also takes these boys away from the streets to give them a platform. So this is where they get a platform to showcase, basically, their talent in soccer. Even there's entertainment as well. There's dancers. I've seen your Red Devils, the Bantula dance across the world. Now they are worldwide. Now they used to, they perform as well. Every year they perform at the Phillies games as well. So it's actually a platform. And now we're seeing DSTV as well. It just came through as well to showcase Phillies games while they are playing, which is good. And that means it's a showcase for our community. So there is something great about Ivory Park, which is something that we are passionate of. And when I'm speaking about it, I'm so passionate and I'm so happy. And we've seen celebrities from all over, sponsors from all over, coming to our community, or Coca-Cola, or whatever, they are coming to we see them now, they are here with us. And normally we see these people from Soweto, we see them in something, but now when it comes to the sports, that's where we see the uniting of our people.
It's a unifier.
It is a unifier. So that's what we have currently, I must say. At some point we've seen a helicopter coming down, the guy who came with the helicopter from Epumlong. It was inspiring to say, oh, so we have your Ferrari and your helicopter from Tembisa, you see. So that's where you get to see your Panyaza Disufi as well. That's when I started sitting down with the premier, when by then was still an MEC, would sit down with him, have this conversation, talk. So it's where we see lots of social cohesion from all walks of life. It takes people from the rich community, all over the rural, all over, and it unites them. So that's the most greatest thing. That's why when I'm involved in that project, that's when I used to be most passionate to say, I'll make sure. I remember at some point I've put my name on the door to say, they are going to get the ground, they're getting the waiver, like it or not, call the MMC for community development if you have to, and they call the community just to make sure that they get the ground and this thing is happening. That's how passionate I am.
Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. Thank you, Tatane. I want to close my show without where is this calling come from?
Okay, I didn't see that one coming. Oh well, if you've been listening to me, you'd understand one thing. I've always been in a leadership. I've always been with people. Oh well, there's a lot that we've done. We've built homes for people. We've been giving food parcels to old people. We've been helping child-headed families. We've been helping people to get jobs. I've been involved in so many things that actually aligns me with people, with helping, giving, shaping, and stuff. And I've been involved in leading all times. And I started questioning things now to say, who am I? Where do I withdraw so much strength to do so much? And I guess it has questioned my spirituality because I grew up in Christianity. But at some point, I've seen no progress in my life. And then when I'm meditating, I realized in the long way, there were lots of prophecies to say, you're not a normal person. You were born with a gift, and you were born with something, and you are carrying something with you. And I've been curious to say, what is it? And that's when I discovered to say, my mother had a calling, unfortunately she didn't attend to it. And when I was born, my ancestors appointed me. That's why they gave me this heart, the heart that I have. Because the heart that I have, I don't know how to describe it myself. But I noticed I'm a giver. I can't watch people suffer in my midst. So, and then I realized that I have a calling of healing people. It can be through talking, it can be through tangible things. It's just a lot. But I have a healing spirit that I've been given by my ancestors. And then at some point it has made me to search to find out who's my father. And I found out that my father is Mr. Sibia. He's a Sibia. He's from a royal clan. Yabu Sibia. And then I found out that my mother as well, Maswanganyi, she was brought up by a king, King Maswanganyi. The father was a king. So I realized I can chance. I didn't chance because at some point everything got blocked. Never seen any progress in my life. And I was stuck, but I was going to church, I was fasting, I was giving, I was doing everything. I was proud of everything, but my life was stuck. I would see people progressing, buying cars, whatever. My life was stuck, and I would keep on getting people, random people prophesying me. I would dream about it as well, but I thought it was just a meme, like it's just my thought. Because remember, when we are in church, especially abazalwane bethu, they always preach with me, our ancestors are demons. Not understanding that the people who brought Christianity were the very same people who brought apartheid, the colonizers, and they took everything from us, and they even took our beliefs.
African spirituality
From us. You see, when they took it out, they portrayed it as evil. Because they never had an understanding of what it is. So, but because of we didn't want to follow it, we have let our heritage to go away from us, and we started believing in this new religion, which makes things easy for us, and we think, nah, it's okay. You understand? So, unfortunately, our ancestors don't die. They move from one generation. Yes, you can neglect them today, but they move from one generation to another.
They will catch you up.
Yeah, and somehow they will get to a generation where they are stubborn. So unfortunately, I'm one of those. Where they go to me and I was like, what is this belief thing? I mean, I'm a Christian. No, understand? And eventually, when I started keeping calm and I accepted, things started to elevate in my life. I started seeing myself now becoming an entrepreneur, started understanding where I withdraw, I get my strength. Like the cloth I'm wearing, it's my Mabizweni wami.
Okay.
Yes, it's my grandmother, the one that named me, that gave me a name. So whenever I go, it needs to be there. It's for protection, it's for present and acknowledgement every day in my life. So that's why I'm carrying it every time. When I drive with it. Everywhere I go, I move it. My business, we are protector as well. Is the job. So, and they communicate with me.
Ancestors are aligned.
Yeah, now they are aligning and stuff. So I wouldn't say I'm yet a certified healer. I'm not yet. So I say in the journey, I've accepted who am I, and I've went through deeply to understand them, who they are, and what role they play. And I realized they've been there throughout. I understood that, and they started revealing that we've been there for you. We are the leaders. We are the kings who are making a leader in you. We have planted the seed of leading in you. That is why everywhere you go, you'll always lead. That is where everywhere you go, you always help people. It's because of us. We've always carried you. We've always protected you. And then I started understanding, and I understood the power within me. And so now I'm still in that chain. Unfortunately, when you're on your own, it's quite challenging somehow, because there's certain things that you need to do to please them, but they need finance and you're on your own. You understand? So I got to understand all of that. So that's where the switch of me accepting my ancestors started. And then they started showing me what they need. They need their beads, they need their cloth, they need this, they need this. Even now they're telling me what they need. I'm on that journey, step by step, until a certain point where I'll be certified to say, no, finally, now I'm Dr.
Togos. Thank you for watching us, and like and comment to this beautiful broadcast. Before we sign off, maybe how can people reach you out if they wanted to follow you? I know you're already in the space of transportation. How do they follow you?
Okay, no, I'm all over. It's easy to reach me. You can just go to Patrick Maswanganyi on Facebook. I think I wrote Ornable. Yeah, it's Patrick Maswanganyi Ornable on Facebook. On Twitter as well, I'm there. But I'm not active there. I just watch news there. And then on Instagram as well, I'm there on Instagram. It's still Patrick Maswanganyi. And even on TikTok, it's Patrick Maswanganyi. Yeah, or they will get my contacts, because I've put my contacts. I'm running a business there as well, shuttle business. I'm a hustle entrepreneur, not only one business, but so far I'm doing that under a company called Tunzo Mushe Trading and Project. Yeah, they can check me out. I'm all over. Yeah.
Cancer.
Thank you. Sure.
South Africa is a great destination for conferences. We have great infrastructure, state-of-the-art conference centers. We've got amazing people that will show you around our beautiful country, whether you want to go to the beach or you want to go to Kruger National Park. We have amazing food, we've got beautiful beers, we have it all. So you have to come visit South Africa. South Africa is a great destination for conferences. We have great infrastructure, state-of-the-art conference centers. We've got amazing people that will show you around our beautiful country, whether you want to go to the beach or you want to go to Kruger National Park. We have amazing food, we've got beautiful beers, we have it all. So you have to come visit South Africa.
I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the